Hey guys, 51 here. Today we got a new quest called the Nexus of All Realities, and it's basically a one fight quest that takes no energy. You just kind of work your way out of this spiral, and you fight the ManThing. Uh, I didn't read up on this guy or do any research or do anything. This is basically just every run I did against ManThing to sort of try to figure him out. Um, This is on the Epic version. I use up all my Epic tickets here. Um, I learned from fighting him a couple times in the main quest that he can cause some poison, that he has a lot of hit points. But here he's also got this Icarus buff and a Nano Plague buff. So the Nano Plague means that you probably shouldn't use robots. Robots would probably be pretty good against ManThing most of the time because of the poisons that he causes. Um, but here, instead, it converts those to shocks, which are probably even worse. But the trick with the Icarus buff, it's kind of annoying. Every hit that you make, either against a block or a regular hit, or blocked hit, gives you a Fury. And you'd think, okay, great, I get these free Furies. Except that they all are on a timer, and if the timer runs out, it turns into a really nasty degenerate. Also, if they build up to 10, then they all convert into degenerates, which can do significant damage. So, kind of the takeaway from fighting against somebody with the Icarus buff is you want to try to balance it out between the number of hits before you clear out those Furies, and the way you clear them out is with the heavy attack. So, pretty healthy balance is basically do one regular combo and then a heavy attack to clear them off. Otherwise, those Furies build up, and see, now I'm stacking degenerates on myself and I'm dead. So I'm going to go ahead and take this guy on with a bunch of different champions just to try to figure him out, see what works, see what doesn't. So that was the thing. Did pretty significant damage against him, but mostly it was user error on my part. I wasn't keeping track of the number of Furies there, so I got myself into trouble. So I got a hit with a heavy. There you go. Gets rid of the 7. The thing I don't like about Icarus is what I will call the bad Furies. See, 5, 6, 8. The ones that are building up that you have to keep very close track of, because otherwise they'll turn into degeneration. If your character gets Furies from their normal gameplay, it puts them together. And so you can't tell which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones. And later on, I use Hyperion, and that becomes very confusing because it shows with Hyperion that he's got like 9 or 10 of those Furies all the time, but he's not getting degeneration because those are his regular Furies added to the bad Furies. So it's kind of a bad game mechanic that they put them all in the same bracket. But, c'est la vie. I will survive. Okay, so the first time around, I beat him using Thing that did most of the damage and kind of finished him off with Starlord. And the gameplay was sloppy on my part, but, if you can get through with using 2 champs, no heals, no revives, I'll call it a win. I'll try some different folks this time around. Try out Domino. Going extra conservative here because I didn't want those Furies to build up, so I was just going like spamming the heavy, doing like a single medium combo and then heavy. See, he's already put one of those sort of pustule things on, which I think turn into poisons here in a little while. Also, I'm seeming to have trouble dodging his special one, and I think it's just because I hadn't really practiced against it much. All it takes is a little bit of a delay to dodge that arm. It's not that hard of it's kind of like Magneto with his special one. You dodge the initial swipe, and then you have to dodge the thing that he throws at you that goes a little bit slower than some of the other projectiles. So if you dodge too early, you get hit by it, and that's the problem I seem to be having here, is I'm dodging too early on the special one and getting hit with the flailing arm thing that he throws at you. Alright, so Havoc, doing a full combo. I think I'm starting to kind of figure out my rhythm. Then a heavy, so that I don't get into degeneration mode. But the trick that I have, probably just my short attention span coming back to bite me in the backside, is that when I'm kind of trying to keep track of all that kind of stuff, I stop paying as much attention to how much power my opponent has, and then I'll let them get specials off against me. And that's a good way to die really fast. See, I'm sitting here worried about count, and oh, whoops, I'm going to get hit with a special 3 that's probably going to like completely destroy me. Yeah. At least it's a cool looking special 3. Which also begs the question of why didn't they give the ManThing an incinerate attack? But hey, you know, I'm not a game designer. Just a player. Okay, so regardless, Havoc did some pretty significant damage there. This will probably be bad using Vision because of that nano plague. See, he's already got a shock, and it's a nasty one. It's doing 700 a tick. That's passive. There's nothing you can do about that. There's no way to dodge it, no way to cleanse it or purify it. That's just, don't bring a robot to fight this guy. So I know the thing worked last time, so hopefully at least I can get the job done with the thing, unless I just mess it up. Gotta hit a heavy. It's gonna start degenerating on me. Yep, there's one degeneration already. And it's a nasty degeneration. It's 1,000 a tick. So, I mean, that's kind of the trick, is pick your poison. If you can't keep track of 2 things at once, like apparently I can't sometimes, it's pretty nasty, because if you get hit with the specials, you're going to be hurt. If you let the stupid Furies build up in the degeneration to start, you're going to lose. But I'd say the rewards are pretty decent, considering this is one fight that takes no energy. And you can do 3 or 4 of them if you get all the tickets. And my war started, so I had to get rid of the thing anyway, so I just changed up my characters, put some different folks in here. I can't remember who I put in there. I put in, oh yeah, She-Hulk. I figured the Hulk family are all poison immune, so maybe that'll be good against this guy. Hyperion, also poison immune. And Captain Sparkle's poison immune. For some reason, I don't know why, I just like can't dodge and can't block anything with Captain Sparkles against this ManThing guy. I don't know what it is. It's like normally I have no problem parrying anybody that I'm fighting, but when I try to use Captain Sparkles against this guy, I just like get hit and die. Anyway, I thought Hyperion would be good because heavy attack is kind of his jam, right? So that should give him lots of Furies, build him up, and it should be nullifying the bad Furies that the Icarus buff is putting on. But the problem is, see, his good buffs, his good Fury buffs, look exactly like the bad Fury buffs. So it's like, well, unless you're paying really close attention, or you're just doing heavy, the question is, am I about to start getting degenerated, or am I okay? Because are those okay Furies, or are those bad Furies? So I'm assuming those are 7 good Furies. But again, me being stupid, I'm still busy looking at those Furies and wondering why the degeneration hasn't started, that I get hit with the special 3. But at least I mess them up really good. So I'm thinking that Hyperion is a really good choice. And as long as you're going to be spamming that heavy, you really don't have to worry about the bad Furies in this fight. So if you're having trouble with this fight and you have a Hyperion, just bring him and do your normal thing. Just parry, heavy, hit him with a special, parry, heavy, rinse, repeat until your opponent is dead. Don't let them hit you with a special like me and my poor attention span did. So try to finish him off with Gladiator Hulk. He's good because he's got a pretty quick and pretty painful heavy, like that. Can do some armor breaks and some other nasty things, so. He did the job. Certainly no problem finishing him off. I'll come back and try again using some of the other champs I brought here. So maybe try to see how much I can do with a Gladiator Hulk from the start of the fight, or maybe try out the She-Hulk, or maybe do both, depending on how things go. This is my last one of these tickets that I got. So it's telling me, because looking at the rewards, they're not great for the normal and the heroic mode, but they're pretty decent when you really think about it. There's pretty good amount of shards and some Sig stones at the master and the epic level. So I will definitely make sure to make the point of getting as many of these little tickets as I can in the later part of the week. Okay, yeah, let's try this out with just heads up with Gladiator Hulk, see what we can do. Specialists don't seem too hard to dodge as long as you're paying attention. And once you learn to kind of pause a little bit on the special one to dodge the arm, it's just user error on my part that I somehow failed to block a regular, not unblockable hit there. I seem to do that a fair amount against this guy, and I don't know if it's just because his attack is so high, or just because my reflexes are failing me. We'll see. I also thought that She-Hulk would be really good for this fight because her heavy is so effective. She has such a damaging heavy that has such a nice little bonus debuff that it puts on people. But I could have easily won this fight with She-Hulk if I had paid attention to the power level of my opponent. I must be like suffering from lack of sleep or something, because I've done this way too many times. Got kind of wrapped up in the fight, and oh, whoops, the guy I'm fighting has now full 3 bars of power, and he's going to one-shot me with his special 3. Yeah, this is terrible. Like the Captain Sparkles, it's like I can't block anything. I don't know if I even do any damage against this guy. Yeah. That was useless. So, okay, maybe I can do well with my Hyperion like before. Or maybe I'm going to make equally ridiculous mistakes and get completely smoked without even laying a hand on this guy. Like that. 5 hits. Done. Yeah, that is not the way to do it. Alright, it's up to Starlord, which luckily Starlord can usually take care of business. He doesn't have any specific immunities or anything that makes this fight good, other than the fact that he does ridiculous amounts of damage already, because he's Starlord. And then add on top of that he gets his own Furies, and add on top of that those Furies stack with his power gain that he gets from the hit counter, and by the time I'm up to 15, 20 hits, my special 2 is going to be a game ender. So that's why I still love Starlord. So anyway, those were a couple different takes, and not the cleanest and prettiest fights, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what you're up against here. So good luck, folks.